The sun was almost rising. It was morning again. Zezé woke up on a cool spring morning. He hadn't gotten enough sleep yet. He had worked very hard again yesterday, and his whole body ached. Getting out of bed was always difficult for him every morning, but he knew his responsibilities. He had to get up, and he knew it best. Zezé was only 7 years old. His father had gone to war on the king's orders when he was just a newborn baby. Years had passed, and his father had never returned. Some said he had died on the battlefield. Others said he had found a new family in the lands where he had gone to fight and had built a new life there. Of course, Zezé didn't care, or rather, he didn't want to believe it. He had never lost hope that his father would return one day. Zezé had no one else besides his mother and a younger sister who was a year older than him. As the only male in the house, he knew his responsibilities. Although he was a young child, he never acted like one. On the contrary, he tried to overcome problems like an adult who was aware of everything. He had understood how difficult life was at a young age. Therefore, every morning she would wake up with great conviction and get to work. Zezé had animals to look after, stables to clean, firewood to gather, and many other tasks. Most days, she was so tired that she didn't even have time to play. That morning, she had woken up early again. After looking after the animals, she had to go to the forest to gather firewood. Luckily, their house was close to the forest, and the forest path was beautiful enough to tempt Zezé. Most of the time, when Zezé didn't have time, she liked to go to the forest and wander aimlessly. Meanwhile, her sister and mother had already woken up and were doing their housework. Zezé started walking deeper into the forest to gather firewood. While gathering wood, she noticed a squirrel in a tree. For some reason, she was very curious about animals. She looked at the squirrel for a long time. Then she noticed a rabbit. She followed the rabbit for a while. Then she followed some birds, some butterflies. She realized she had gone too far without realizing it. She was almost lost. She remembered that her mother and sister were waiting for her. It was time to go back. Just as he was about to turn back, he heard a murmur. First, he felt a shiver run through his body. He immediately realized it was fear. The first thing that came to mind was that a huge wolf was nearby. He heard the sound again. He felt a little relieved when he realized it was the sound of a wolf cub. He immediately wanted to run back, but he also wanted to see the cub. He was about to give in to his curiosity. Still, he decided he couldn't take that risk and hurried back home. Just then, his foot tripped on a bowl, and he fell face down. The pieces of wood he was carrying scattered everywhere, and a few pieces even hit his face. Several scratches were clearly visible on his face, because when he touched his face, he noticed blood stains on his hands. When he lifted his head, he saw a den extending towards the ground under a tree trunk. Without a doubt, it was a wolf den. Because it was too big to be a rabbit or fox den, he became even more afraid. He was so scared he couldn't move. He needed to get up and run away as soon as possible, but he couldn't even do that. Zezé couldn't remember ever being so scared or so helpless. Just then, she noticed a pair of bright blue eyes emerging from their sockets. They stared at Zezé intently, without blinking. Both of them remained motionless, staring back at each other. Clearly, they were both terrified of what they saw, and both were so stunned they could barely move. That day, Zezé's life was about to change completely, and she wasn't even aware of it.